Hey everybody, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I'm doing a really interesting series, and the series is called Which is Better, a cover song or the original? Now, I find it really interesting because a lot of people are talking smack, all they do is covers and this, that, whatever, but some things may not be as they seem. Next up is what we remember, Van Halen, You Really Got Me, which was originally a Kinks song. Now, we're going to get into this in a minute, but if you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe to my channel. That would be really cool. I have a singing course, and the singing course is called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else. You can find it right here at kentamplinvocalacademy.com, where I also have a free singing forum with over 25,000 singers, all talking about how to get good at singing. Okay? Now, we're going to dive into this. I want to talk about Van Halen first for a second, because Van Halen kind of was put on the map because of cover songs, particularly this one, straight up. And yes, it has Eruption at the beginning and his blistering guitar solos, but I got to tell you, a lot of you guys that remember, this was the song that pretty much put Van Halen on the map. And so we're going to talk about that. Now, Van Halen was notorious for doing other cover songs. Of course, we know Pretty Woman, Dancing in the Streets. In fact, Best of Both Worlds, if you really think about it, is basically the song Celebration on guitar without giving it was Cool in the Gang or whomever, without giving them credit, okay? So there was a lot of stuff. Now, if I were to break down Pretty Woman and all this other stuff, I'm not gonna probably do that and double up on artists that much, but I do wanna mention that I think they did an awesome job on Pretty Woman. I think their interpretation was awesome. Eddie's guitar playing, just though his approach to dominating everything he did on guitar, Dancing in the Streets was fabulously done. So I've got to get, and then California Girls, David Lee Roth going on his own doing that too. So remember, I mean, they were steeped in doing cover songs. So let's remember that as we start bashing on people doing covers, because they repopularized the song for their generation. Many people may not ever have known that. So let's dive into Ray Davies and the Kinks. Here we go.
Girl, you really got me going. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't be bending. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't be bending. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me.
Cool. Now, this reminds me, when I think of T-Rex in Bang a Gong, for example, and I think of Robert Palmer and the Power Station redoing it, that the guitar tones and stuff were pretty small back then. And I kind of wonder, as they look forward at Van Halen and seeing what they did with the song, if they didn't go, yeah, man, it's like taking our song to a new level. Because Van Halen did this.
You really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I get some bad night. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know where I'm going, yeah. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can see that night. You really got me. Oh, you really got me. Oh, you really got me. Please don't ever let me be.
Now, here's what I find interesting. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? And I don't mean the original or the cover. I mean the way that Van Halen developed their sound. Straight up. Because when I listen back to You Really Got Me, and I listen back to Ted Templeman, of course, producing the early Van Halen stuff, the way that they lifted the whole vibe and concept from You Really Got Me, that being one of their very first songs out of the box, and it's replicated so closely to the original with heavier guitars, Eddie dominating the guitars, an upgraded version, the keys a little different, etc. They really copped the vibe of the original song, even unto maybe it helped form Van Halen's sound. I'm not kidding. I know that sounds weird, but I really mean that because I know that we just came off a lot of other stuff and we've seen how artists have been influenced by other artists and sort of reinterpreted their sound and represented it as their own art in their own unique way. But it's pretty interesting when you really think about it.
I always wanna be by your side. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I can't be bad name. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing now. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't be bad name. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. Oh no!
Now, we've talked a lot about the fact that it's one thing to cover a song, and it's another thing for it to be original. So we've got to give Ray Davies and the Kinks 50 points out of 100 or more for writing it and being the originators of making a song like that popular. But as we go back and we listen to the Van Halen background vocals, how it kind of shaped and formed their sound, and they had a lot of songs like Running with the Devil. I mean, there's so many songs like that that Van Halen had that had that same kind of long whole tone, no vibrato vocal sound. Pretty close, if you ask me. I mean, you tell me. You put in the comment sections what you think and who you think is better. Let's finish up with some Van Halen here.
Please don't ever let me be. I only wanna be by your side. Please don't ever let me be. I only wanna be by your side. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know why don't you win, yeah. Oh yeah, you really got me now. Got me so I can sleep at night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. Oh no, no.
We also know that Mr. Van Halen was heavily, heavily influenced by Alan Holdsworth, whether he cares to admit it later in his career. And first he admitted it, he denied it, then he admitted it, then he denied it again. You listen to some early Alan Holdsworth and you'll see what I'm talking about. So there was a whole lot of influencing going on, if you know what I mean. And why I also think this is really fascinating and what's really cool is Eddie took it to a whole new level. I mean, he absolutely did. He's sort of the originator of the you know, that a lot of metal bands later and then even modern rock bands later have taken this to yet a more greater and greater levels. Eddie said something really interesting, and I got to quote him. He said that people were eulogizing and praising his lead guitar playing, but he said that he felt that he was as much, if not more, of a rhythm guitar player than a lead player, and that most lead players were not that great of rhythm players, and that's really true. And I know that personally, as a guitar player myself, I had to take a lot of time off to stop, wheedling and noodling, playing fast, blistering guitar licks, slow it down, and get in the groove of his fantastic. I was so influenced by him and AC/DC, some other bands, of the pocket playing guitar, rhythm guitar style that also helps with great songwriting. David Lee Roth said something really funny too. I got to quote this. It has nothing to do directly with this, but he was talking about when we were talking about replacement singers, and he says, Sammy's a good replacement, and he brings on a good party, but I am the party. I'm stinging David. Anyway, but I want to hear from you guys. You tell me who you think or what you think was better. Was the original better? Was the Van Halen version better? Tell me the pros and cons. Please post respectfully. I want to hear from you. Write in the comment sections. Let me know. And if you have a cover song that you want me to do that you think is worthy, man, I'll dig it up and see if I can get the publishing agreed to for YouTube to do it. But definitely check out my next video.
Girl,